So today I am going to talk about my rediscovery of the joys of monotasking, and I hope you'll join me in this discussion. Hey everyone, it's Melissa. Monotasking, what is it and how has it gotten away from me in my life and how I'm trying to rediscover it? Well, it's a simple concept. It's the exact opposite of multitasking. Now, multitasking, is when you're on a Zoom meeting and you're tying your child's shoes and buttoning his coat and you're doing a load of clothes and you're, cooking supper. Now, in this modern world, a lot of that is necessary. Sometimes we have to do several tasks at the same time. You have to get your child at the door. You have to be on that Zoom meeting. Maybe something else is happening that you need to do at the same time. But when multitasking becomes so much a part of our lives, I think that we can miss something, or at least I know that I was. And I wanted to talk about rediscovering it and what it can mean and just sort of getting back to a different kind of enjoyment of life. So when I had my oldest daughter, I was 21, and I had all these things for myself, as you do with your first child. I wanted to be, I wanted to make sure I breastfed. I wanted to have the house really clean. I'd worked. This was my first time staying home and being a housewife. I wanted to have it all. I wanted to be an excellent wife. I wanted to be an excellent mother. I wanted to be an excellent housekeeper. I wanted to be an excellent cook. I wanted to have it all, do everything just so. And I was 21 years old, so it was a lot easier to do all these things. Oh, and I wanted to make sure my skincare and my makeup was all in place at the same time. And what I discovered then, and I've realized I was this type of person over the years, was that I was a monotasking person. So I would get up, and if I could, without it being an emergency that she had to be fed, or she had to do this or that, I would do each task as I needed to, and only that task, and I would concentrate on it, and I would do it from start to finish. Now, at times, of course, the baby would cry, or, an emergency might happen. I would have to drop what I was doing and go back and do that. And a lot of the things I would sort of multitask and tie her. If I was cleaning, I might tie her on my chest while I was cleaning so that she could be close to me. So that was a bit of multitasking. But I found that I was much more efficient if I cleaned the house, the portions of the house I was going to do that day, and it was done. If I was going to start supper at a certain time and cook it through, it was done. All these tasks that I had to do, I found that if I did them from start to finish and concentrated on them, my life was easier. And I have to say, I don't think I've ever been so fulfilled in my life as those years when she was born and then my son was born. Everything was simple. We didn't have much money, but I was so happy and I was so fulfilled. Of course, some of it was having new babies and stuff like that, but I do think not letting myself get overwhelmed with all of these tasks that I knew I had to do was a way that I needed to go to do it efficiently and with enjoyment. I knew, even though I was young, I realized it was a special time in my life, and that, everybody kept telling me it was going to go quickly and to enjoy it. So I always tried to do that. So I always followed through with this. Circumstances happened. I ended up getting a divorce. I had to go to work. I had to you know, work during the daytime and then come home and take care of my kids and, you know, take them to school, and do it all on my own. If they were sick, it was me in the middle of the night and stuff. And then, you know, Doug and I got married, and so I was devoting myself to a new marriage, but still trying to make my children feel secure and, you know, everything that they still needed. And, you know, time passed and they left home, my daughter did, and then my son did. And then my daughter really moved far away to California, and my son moved fairly far away to Charleston, South Carolina. So I started doing a lot of knitting then, and I found the same thing happened. You know, I started doing projects because I was sad that part of my life was over with. I realized that this mono, and I didn't have a name for it then, but this is what it was. The monotasking carried on into a project like my knitting. So I would start knitting and I would not start something else until I had finished it. Now, I didn't have to finish it all in one sitting, but I would go back to it when I had finished other tasks, and that would be my focus. It would be a matter of focusing and enjoying each thing. So time passed, and Doug and I ended up buying the house that we're in now. And it was a lot of work, and sometimes we had to overlap and stuff. But I don't know, I think I've talked about this before, but I did a whole lot of painting, faux painting in this house to make it look original. Baseboards, I painted every baseboard in this house, faux painted it to look like wood. Now it was wood, but it had been painted white, and we just couldn't go to all the stripping that it involved. So I focused on that, and I learned to faux paint to look like wood graining. I did wood graining, and I did the whole house, and I didn't go to another room till I finished this room. I wouldn't go to another room till I finished this room. I did up the stairs. Everything that you see that's wood around, including going up the stairs, is faux painted by me. You know, I'm not bragging on myself, you know, I just focused on it and learned to do it. Okay, so then you know, I started my YouTube channel, and I did that with my YouTube channel. But as time passed, things got more complicated, and I got out of the habit of monotasking. You know, I was on Facebook. Okay, I need to do on Facebook. Okay, I need to do YouTube. Then Instagram came along. Well, that's another thing. My channel won't grow if I don't be on Instagram. So I had to start doing Instagram, and I enjoyed it a lot because I enjoy doing the stories. Is what I enjoy doing more so than the main grid. But I knew I had to do the main grid. I had to show myself in clothes. I had to show myself in doing makeup. I had to show myself in doing hair, or people would quit following me. And then TikTok came along, and for a while I did TikTok, and okay, if I do it on TikTok, can I put it on Instagram? Can I do this? And doggone it, I found myself so confused and so not enjoying life as much. You know, my chores, my tasks. I have shared this on Instagram, but when I clean the house, I always would play, you know, I got enjoyment out of cleaning my house and touching the surfaces. I would touch all different surfaces and look at dust and see if it was clean, or look under tables and see if it, you know, get into the moment. I would have this little bit of making sure it was done right, because I would pretend it would be like for Queen Elizabeth or Princess Catherine or something like that. I would play a little game out of a chore, a mundane task, to be able to get, you know, kind of enjoyment and pride in it. So I ended up confused, and I ended up getting behind, and I ended up giving up in lots of things. And I think that's what can happen. I think that we can get so overwhelmed and so distracted by this and that, and not living in the moment, multitasking monotasking that we get away from the simple things. I think what I want to try to do, and maybe challenge you all to think about in this video, is to try monotasking. Get up, get in the shower, whatever you do first thing, and really think about what you're doing. Think about your skincare. Think about putting on your makeup. Think about fixing your hair. Think about living in the moment. I think we let so much precious time that is so short, that is given to us, some people shorter than others, some people longer than others. Sometimes we just let it slip by being so busy with things that we can do later, with not living in the moment, with looking ahead, with looking behind. I think it can cause so much confusion and so much of getting away from simple things in life. I really do feel like more than lots of money, more than riches, more than popularity, simple things in life are really what's important. And I realize in the world we live in now that it isn't always possible. You know, so many of you, and sometimes, you know, I have to do that too. I have to multitask because I do things at the office and I do things here, and sometimes I have to let them overlap too and do things at the same time. But in doing that, I have to concentrate on only those tasks and not get too distracted or think too ahead about, oh, well, I've got to clean the bathroom. Oh, I've got to go make the bed. Or I've got to go do this, because then you end up confused and you end up not doing anything. I'm really wanting to try to get back to the person I was from the time I had my first child at 21, to living in each moment and enjoying the task or the joy that's at hand. I just think when you concentrate as much as possible on monotasking rather than multitasking, I think that you end up with so much more enjoyment in life. Since I've been getting back to it, I just realized that, you know, it's like stopping and smelling the flowers. I realized how blessed I am. I realized that I'm so blessed to, you know, like have my grandchildren, all my grandchildren live in the same street, rather than looking at the distraction. I've got to do this. Oh, I've got to fix that for them. Oh, I've got to do this for them. Oh, I've got to do, you know, I can't spend time with them now because I got to do this, and this. That I can take the time and spend it with my children on that one task. And I tell you, what made me want to do this video, we had snow, and we never get snow, and so we were real excited, but I got sick. My Crohn's acted up, and I laid there, and I was so nervous, and I was feeling so guilty because I had assigned myself all these tasks. Okay, I'm going to go sledding. I'm going to build a snowman. I'm going to make things perfect for them. I'm going to you know, have all the kids over. We're going to have hot chocolate. We're going to build a fire. Oh, I need to go get firewood. This is the way my mind was going as I was laying there sick, and several times I would try to get up and go and do these tasks. But you know, what I ended up doing, they came over. I sat in my easy chair, and we ended up just watching a movie together. And it was peaceful. It was fun. I wasn't stressed. And I realized that I had to live my life in the moment. When I realized that, I thought my Monday's video has got to be talking about this subject. I had actually been going to, and I will do that Friday, I had actually been going to talk about the skin thing. I must be looking back on things, because I was going to be talking about my last 50-something years of taking care of my skin from the age of about 14, when I first started taking care of my skin. I was going to look back at the last, you know, like 55 years of doing that. It dawned on me that this was so important to my life, and I had wondered if there were those of you out there that it was important to you, for you to get back to doing this, to doing one project, a monotask, when you can, at a time. Focus on it. think about it. Think about the steps. Think about how you feel. Think about looking at your life. When you're cleaning your house, think about looking at your house and how blessed you are to have it. Think about when you're folding your clothes, that you are washing your clothes, that how blessed you are to have this wardrobe that you have. Think about when you're doing your skincare. Think about how you're taking care of yourself by doing your skincare. When you take a shower, think about how you're exfoliating and doing things. Think about how you do in the moment. And one other thing before I go, I like listening to podcasts. I enjoy them a whole lot. I do different kinds. I do history, I do true crime that I listen to. But I was listening to those at the same time I was doing a whole bunch of different stuff. So, I found that I couldn't really enjoy listening to the podcast. So I've tried to be more mindful of listening time for podcasts. And over Christmas, I listened to a book on tape and just sit there and listen to a book on tape. And I enjoyed that book thoroughly. And then I went on to listen to another book on tape, and I enjoyed that book on tape thoroughly. So this was not really a planned video, and so I probably rambled a lot. But this year, when it turned midnight, I realized, that I was going to be turning 70 this year. I was starting a whole new decade, and that just seemed a lot more mature than turning 60 did, than even 69. 70 seemed older. And so it made me very thoughtful of things, and made me very thoughtful of time passing, and it made me very thoughtful of making sure that I really was present in the moments in my life. I just think that's so important. I think the danger of too much multitasking is that we are not present. We've got too many distractions going on, and we're not present in what we're doing at the time. And we might be missing something. So anyway, a bit of a rambling video, but that's okay. I'm going to allow myself these rambling videos sometimes, because this is another thing living in the present, is talking on YouTube and talking to people out there and editing it and getting it up. And, there's joy in that too. So thank you so much for watching. Next week, maybe skincare. Got some more favorites coming up soon, and do want to really talk about my skincare over the years, because I've had some questions come up. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. It really means a lot. And prayers being sent out to all of you in California. So thank you for watching. Love you all, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.